Okay, so just want to make a video real quick on my Corvette. I haven't made many videos on the Corvette, but the reason why I'm making this one, went with some 15-inch wheels, and not a lot of people cover, or I haven't really seen anybody covering as far as clearancing for the control arms. There's a spindle you have to buy, which is I guess they've got different brands. I've got a LG, but I'll show you here in just a moment. Let me get up under here what I'm talking about that I'm having to do. So as you can see, this is the inside of the wheel and tire, and you can see where I've been grinding on my control arm here for clearance. When the car is on the ground, this control arm here gets closer to the wheel here, and if you don't grind enough away, you will make contact. So now you would think that lowering it to the ground would maybe make it go up, but it actually makes it go down and gets closer. So I've got the fun job of having to clearance this some more. I actually lowered it some last night. I got some VMS lowering bolts here, which I'm probably going to swap to coilovers though, but for now this is going to do it for me. I love the ride height, but it's getting this even closer to the wheel. I had it clearanced enough where I had it, but now that I've lowered it some more, it gets this even closer. So anyway, so let me get this tire off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But before I do, I'll say one easy way to do this, because it's been a pain getting it off. I have to get the jack stands out, get it on the ground, get the suspension to settle, see if it clears. If it doesn't, I have to jack it back up and do the whole process all over again. That's kind of a pain. So what I will say, easy way to do this: get your tire off, take the lowering bolt out. That will allow you to put a jack up under the control arm and jack it up to check for clearance before you do that, or at least the best you can. It may still raise it off the jack stands a bit, but that's the easier way to try and do it, so without having to keep lowering it to the ground. But anyway, let me get this tire off and I'll show you where I'm at. Alright, so I have the LG spindle, which the stock one, for those that don't know, it sits up about this much higher or so, preventing you from being able to even put a wheel on here. Some people, I guess, have to either get new brakes or maybe clearance the end of their caliper. Mine is good, I don't have to do that. And I'm going to be ending up taking off this lowering bolt here to make it easier to compress the suspension to check for clearance. I'll show you what I'm trying to prevent anyone else from having to do. These are brand new weld wheels, and you can see where I've made contact, and I also have my wheel weights right here, but they've peeled them off. So these are pretty expensive wheels. I'm not too happy about making contact, but I know I'm not the only one that's had this issue as well. So one thing I will say is that what I'm going to be using to try and do more clearancing, this is what I was using, one of those little flapper wheels on a grinder. Got a brand new one. I think this is 30 grit, I believe, 30 or 40, something like that. But you'd want to use something like this. No, this is a 40 grit, brand new one, so maybe this will help me get my grinding done. But you want to use something like this. Maybe that will not like a regular grinding stone, something like that, if you've seen them, because what will happen is with aluminum, if you're not familiar with working with aluminum is a soft metal, and what it will do if you have a regular grinding wheel, it'll bed up in the material, and it can't escape, and what happens is it'll cause the wheel to blow up on you. So definitely don't want to have that happen. These are kind of like little sanding, kind of like sandpaper on here, where you won't have that problem. And if you do have a problem with it loading up with the aluminum, as you can see, this one's kind of doing a little bit. What you can do, put it on some stainless steel to knock all that aluminum off and go back at it, but that one was kind of ground down, so starting fresh and new and with the rougher grit, so I can hopefully get the material off. But anyway, let me get the grinding done, and then show you what I'm dealing with as far as how to check for clearance and what we're going to do there. Alright, so I'm just taking the top of my bushing off. I'm just leaving the bottom of it in there. It should hopefully have enough flex in there. I know some people say you can just go to Home Depot and get longer bolts or whatever, but I wanted to get the new bushings because mine were all beat up anyway. And if your car is as old as mine is, which if you got a C5, it's going to be older. Mine's only 98, but which is one of the oldest ones. But I just wanted the newer bushings, and it was only about $37 shipped to my door. So what the heck? But anyway, let me get the wheel on here, and I'll check the flex. But if you don't have the leaf spring here, you've got coilovers, sorry, you probably have to maybe take your coilover off or whatever the case. But anyway, this is what I've got for now. I may be swapping the coilovers here soon. If you don't do this step where you take the lowering bolt out, you're not gonna be able to compress the suspension, and you'll lift the whole car up off of the jack stand, and you still won't get a true feel of how much clearance you've got. So all right, so as you can see, if you can see it very well in the video, there's plenty of aluminum shavings from what I've finished doing. And this is about where I'm at with the grinding. One thing I'll suggest doing, once you're grinding, you may want to take a small file or something, get in all these little sharp edges here. You don't want to leave a sharp edge. For one, you don't want to cut yourself on it because it will leave sharp edges behind. Also, too, you don't want to leave areas where it can cause a crack or something because of it being sharp. Sorry, I hope I wasn't going off frame there, but anyway. But yeah, just get a file, small file or something, just deburr the edges there so you don't have a sharp edge on it. Yeah, it's loud, so definitely want to have something, because all this aluminum shaving is going to be going around. You want to have something covering your face. You don't want to be breathing all these aluminum shavings. They're going to be floating around. It's definitely all over my clothes already in that regard. But I'm going to go ahead and get that bolt off, and we'll check the suspension travel and see what we're looking at. All right, so I've got it all compressed here. I'll put the jack up under it, and as you can see, I've got it up off the jack stand anyway. So you want to be careful, and keeping in mind, if you've got it lowered, you won't have to, or at stock height, you won't have to grind as much. But I'm lowering mine, and that puts it even closer, like I said. So you can see I'm trying to get it up in there so you guys can see it. I'm still gonna have to grind probably just a little bit, because let me show you one. Let me get my butt up from here with these VMS bolts. That's about where my height is gonna be anyway, just sitting on the ground. And I still have to take into account for any bumps that I may hit, launching, whatever the case. So what I'm doing though, I'm just taking my e-brake off and spinning my tire, because that's definitely what you want to be making sure of. You can't just not spin the tire, because you won't know if it's actually making contact or not. I'm gonna have to take my wheel off though and do a little bit more grinding in this area. I would say get a Sharpie or something where it looks like it's gonna be close. Maybe mark your control arm so you know where to grind. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more just to make sure I'm not actually hitting at all, doing the best I can, and then I'll finish it up. But yeah, definitely be careful, because as you see, I've got it compressed. I'm still off the jack stand, so don't want it falling on you. And definitely wear some eye protection or something to cover your mouth with all these aluminum shavings going around. I've found a bunch of aluminum splinters on the ground, so definitely wouldn't feel good going into your skin. But I'm gonna try and get all this done, get it all back together, get it on the ground, make a test, and then maybe just show you where it sits when I'm done. But just want everybody to know, or have a good idea of how to do it, versus jacking it up, putting it on the ground, jacking it up, putting it on the ground. That gets old. So it's better to do your suspension, and I want to, or it's better to compress your suspension while you got it off the ground, and also give you an idea about how much you're going to be having to grind, or what you're looking to grind, which is in that area, in that regard. So I'm trying to grind as little as I possibly had to, because I definitely don't want these control arms breaking. Pretty stout, but still. But anyway, I'll show one last bit when it's on the ground, and that'll be it. But anyway, hope this helps somebody. Hope y'all have a good day.